Hi everyone, I'm Chef Steve and welcome to Steve Cooks Stuff. Today I'm going to be cooking up a couple really tasty dishes for you. I'm really excited to show you. The first one is going to be shrimp and grits. I'm from the South, grew up eating it, live in California now, but there's takes on this dish even across the world. I'm going to show you my version today. It's going to be delicious. The other thing I'm going to make is a raspberry chocolate brownie with a balsamic chocolate raspberry reduction drizzled on top at the end. Oh man, you're just gonna knock your socks off. Can't wait. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the brownies though, so those can get in the oven while we work on the shrimp and grits next. So I've started out here, I've got 2 eggs in the bottom of my bowl here. I just wanna start to lightly whisk those around. You always wanna start by getting your wet ingredients mixed up first, and then have your dry ingredients on the side. That way you make sure to have all of, each are equally distributed. So just a light whisk on those eggs. Now I've got a half a cup, which is basically 1 stick of melted butter. I'm gonna add that in. Give that a little mix. I've got a 1/4 cup of whole milk. I'm gonna put that in there. Mix, mix, mix. And then I'm gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla. Gotta have vanilla with any good brownie, right? There, that goes in too. Perfect. Now that I've got all of my wet ingredients in here and mixed around, I'm going to drop the whisk and switch over to the spoon, because when you're making a batch of brownies like this, you don't want to overly mix everything. You want to just kind of fold it enough until you see that everything's combined, and then you're ready to go. That's going to keep it from getting too cakey. It's going to keep it light and fluffy. So in here, I've got a cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of flour, 3/4 cups of cocoa powder, and 3/4 tablespoon of sugar. I've got all those mixed. I'm just going to dump them in and start stirring. There we go. Looks like we got them all going. Now, for the raspberry part of this, what I like to do at this point is I've got just some whole raspberries here, and I like to put them in at this stage. That way, as I'm mixing, I'm kind of folding, and I'm starting to kind of break them up a little bit, those raspberries. I don't want to, I can even kind of take the backside of my spoon and press a little bit. What's really fun with this recipe when it's done, the brownies, is you get these little snaps of raspberry without, throughout each bite. And sometimes they're a little bigger, sometimes it's just the flavor, but man, it really just adds a nice fruity undertone to these brownies when they're done. You can see here, they're almost all mixed. I've got a little bit of dry ingredients around the edges. I'm gonna just, a couple more turns around the bowl here, and these things are ready to go into my pan. So yeah, I'm gonna call it good. I'm calling it. What I've got here is just an 8x8 Pyrex pan, or a Pyrex dish. I've lightly sprayed it so that the brownies won't stick when I'm taking them out, and I'm just going to pour my batter in. Like that. I can see the little bits of red from those raspberries going in as I scoop everything in here. All right, last little bit. You don't want to waste any of your brownie mixture, right? You want to make sure and get every bit you can, but just like that. Perfect. Okay, so those are in. Now I'm just going to take my spoon and gently kind of push it down to get it out to all the corners, and just give it a light little smooth over like that. I'm going to put these in the oven at 325 for about 20-25 minutes. I'll start checking them with a toothpick, to make sure they're done. They're going in. I'll be right back. We'll start on the shrimp and grits. See you soon. All right, we're back. We've got the brownies in the oven cooking. I'm reset. I'm going to show you how to make some shrimp and grits. Now I went ahead and got started with my grits, got them going because they take a good 15 to 20 minutes. But what I've got in here is cup and a half of liquid. What I like to use instead of water, I do a cup of milk and a half a cup of chicken stock. And then the way I calculated in my head is for every quarter cup of liquid, it's a tablespoon of grits, of the quick grits. So basically I have 6 tablespoons of grits, cup and a half of liquid. I put them in there to boil, and then the key to getting your grits nice and creamy instead of gritty is to whisk them every few minutes. So these are looking really delicious. Right now there's no real seasoning or anything in there. I'm gonna throw a little bit more butter, because butter, in there, and let those sit for another minute while I work on my shrimp. So here I've got 5 peeled, deveined shrimp that are in some olive oil with a blackened seasoning from Kinder's. And what I want to do is just put a little bit of olive oil in my pan that's nice and hot. The key with shrimp is they cook fast. So you want a nice hot pan, you want to sear them off fast. So before I get the shrimp in there, I'm going to put a little bit of garlic. Get that going. A little bit of onion. Like that. Now, shrimp and grits is one of those recipes that everyone's got their own version. There's what some would consider the traditional, there's what, you know, and every other variation. I personally like to mix mine up. I mean, there's people that already, if they saw me throwing, you know, these tomatoes in here, and now I'm gonna throw some mushrooms in there, they might say, that's not shrimp and grits, but hey, guess what? This is my shrimp and grits, so that's why I'm showing you. And I make this all the time. My guests enjoy it, family enjoys it, everyone that eats it does. So I'm just gonna keep rolling with it, because that's the way I do it. A little bit of balsamic vinegar. And now I'm just gonna put my shrimp right in there. I wanna make sure that they're sitting flat on each side. And I can kind of work my ingredients around the edges there. So let those sit for just a second. I'm gonna clear my space, because I'm gonna come right out of the pan and plate this for you, because that's how fast and easy and quick this recipe is. So while my shrimp are going, I'm gonna go back to my grits. I've got that butter mixed in there. Now I'm gonna put in some cheese, because cheesy grits for me are where it's at. So just a couple handfuls there is maybe 1/3 of a cup, half a cup. Whisk it in so that it gets nice and mixed. I can see it's already just melted in there real nice. Now I'm gonna check on my shrimp. I can already see on some of the edges, they're starting to turn pink. When I flip, oh yeah, look at that. We're getting a nice sear going. They come up there. You know they're done when they're a nice light pink hue to them. Now I added that blackened seasoning, so they're gonna end up having a little slight char mark to them, but they're looking good so far. So we'll leave those there. All right, back to my grits. I'm gonna throw a little bit of that blackened seasoning in the grits as well. I wanna have that kind of coming through from the shrimp, through the grits, all the way through for a delicious bite. This is a little bit of the blend, which is salt, pepper, and garlic. I'm gonna move these out of the way for you. Up with my plate. How are my shrimp doing? Oh yeah, we're looking good. I'm gonna stir them around a little bit. Now it looks like both sides are getting some good char on them. The mushrooms, the tomatoes, everything looks great. It smells amazing. You know, between, of course, the garlic and that balsamic and the blackened seasoning. Oh man, you can't beat it. All right, now I'm gonna whisk this blackened seasoning in. And my grits are ready to go. Watch this. Grab a spoon. I'm coming right out of this bowl, out of the pot into the bowl. Just like that. Oh yeah. Nice, thick, creamy. These are gonna be delicious. And wouldn't you know, these are looking done. So I can see on the shrimp, they're cooked all the way through. I can lift one up, kind of turn a little bit. You can see it's not translucent anymore. It looks, you know, charred and pink on all sides. I didn't even have to put it on end. You know, if I wanted to add some color, I could flip them up like that for a couple seconds. It's not really necessary though. These things are done, and you don't want to overcook your shrimp, because they'll get chewy. They'll get really tough. So I'm just going to start putting them in. Look at this. 1 shrimp. 2 shrimp, 3, 4, and where does this one want to go? Oh, he wants to go right there. Perfect. Now I just take this, I'm just gonna spoon all this good stuff over the top like that. Look at that. Oh yeah. There we are. That is shrimp and grits my way. All right. I'm gonna go check on those brownies. We're gonna come back. We're gonna take another look at this when we get out of here, but I'll be right back with some brownies and we'll see how we did. All right, welcome back. The brownies are out of the oven. They smell amazing. They look pretty done. One way that the way that you want to tell whether your brownies are done or not is while they're still in the oven, you can take a toothpick like this, stick it in at a couple different points, usually in the middle. And as long as none of the brownie comes out on it, if it's like wet and cakey still, that means it's not done. When it comes out clean like that, it is. So I went ahead and pulled them out. They've been resting for a few minutes, that way they can settle, kind of tighten up a little bit. And I think we're ready to plate, so I'm gonna get in there. So I'm gonna come right down through here. Right when I crack into it, I can see little bits of raspberry even coming up on my knife. Because remember, we put those fresh, whole raspberries in there for flavor and color and texture and everything else. So we're about to see how this goes. I'm gonna see if I can get it out with this knife. Moment of truth. The first one always comes out. Oh, look at that. Still steaming, perfect top to bottom. You can see the raspberry in there, the color. I'm gonna put one down there, and I'm gonna put a second one right next to it like this, because these things are perfect. And to be honest, I would probably not just have one. That's just me. I don't know, maybe I would. They're small, so it's okay that I'd have more than one, right? All right, so there they are. You can see the raspberry, you can smell the chocolate is amazing. What I've done also is I took some balsamic vinegar, reduced it, and at the very end I mixed in like a chocolate bar, just a regular Hershey's milk chocolate bar. Not a whole bar, but just enough to kind of give me this chocolate balsamic reduction that I want to drizzle on top. Also have some raspberries that I coated in there, kind of crumbled in there. So we're adding just a little more of that raspberry, a little bit of this balsamic. It's going to add a little pungent taste to it when you get in there and taste these things. So we've got that. Last little bit and we'll call it a day. We're going to put some powdered sugar just right over the top, just like that. There we go. That's it. We have our chocolate brownies with raspberry and a balsamic raspberry reduction. And then of course we started out with our shrimp and grits. Shrimp were blackened. We added in the tomatoes, mushrooms, onions, nice cheesy grits going on. These are going to be delicious. I hope that you enjoy them. And I hope that you enjoyed the show today. And I also hope that you will try these out for yourself. Like I said, with the shrimp and grits, everyone's got their own takes on them. This is mine. Try it out if you want, and then put your own spin on it. The main thing is to cook, enjoy yourself, feed people, feed yourselves, and just enjoy food. That's what I hope to get out of doing a show like this. You can find these recipes and all my other ones on my website, which is stevecookstuff.com. There's also a cookbook in the works, going to be coming out soon, so stay tuned for that on the website and on my social media and everywhere else. Thanks again, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon.